Hey, welcome to more random thoughts in random places. So, as I mentioned last weekend, today we would talk about solutions to the physical effects of trauma and the physical effects of betrayal. So, now bearing in mind, we've got to look at our environment. So, straight away, when you get back from work, you've got a little moment to yourself. Sit and reflect and think, in my environment, where could I find any peace? Now, if there's no local park or lake or river, or say like a little cafe or bar that you like to find a quiet corner in, then what you do is you create it at home. No two buts about it. Sometimes we have to just go homemade. It's cool. Just like you do with a romantic dinner for two, and you want to be a bit more exclusive, and you say, how about we skip the restaurant? Let's do something at home in our own garden. If you're lucky enough to have one, use it. Create a space with your favorite things, especially things that remind you of good memories. If you're lucky enough to have those. Again, can you see where this is going? It's all about appreciation, isn't it? Because you'll soon find that when you create that space for yourself, it's all about, oh yeah, I forgot about that. That was a good memory. That was a good time. It was a good feeling. That's what you want to do. If you're an incense person or a candle person, maybe you want to start treating yourself to one of those once a month to balance things out. Because if you're always giving to the system, you come back feeling drained and tired. You need something for yourself. So if you're a little fan of incense and candles and potpourri, or pot puree, as we say here in England, get those things. Have that little moment. It's so important. It's so important. Time for yourself, time for each other if you're in a relationship. Now, if you're someone that is near a lake, by the sea, near a park, forests, and what have you, go. And if you've been told from many different aspects of life, sort of giving you a hint, you need to go grounding, get grounding, get grounding. You keep hearing the signs, you keep seeing the signs. It's telling you, get grounding. It's right there. And sometimes it can be really hard to take the initiative when it's right there. You sometimes take it for granted. You don't mean to, but you say, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. It's not going anywhere. Well, why? Do it today. Do it today. And with the holiday now coming up, you may want to really, if you've got some time off from work, so really get out there. Get your shoes and socks off, get grounding, get your feet into that soil, get your feet into that water. You know, if you're lucky enough and privileged enough to be around nature, get out with nature. Hug the trees. Yeah, I'm not messing about. Hug the trees. Talk to nature, walk amongst nature. It's your healing. It's your healing because there's no place like it. You will have some solitude. You will be able to have some peace, quiet, and then you'll be able to hear your thoughts, you know, and just take a walk, take the bike, go hiking, just go out. Do it alone. If you prefer to do it with someone, call them up and say, hey, do you fancy going out? Take a little packed lunch, you know, flask of tea or coffee. It costs you nothing. It costs you nothing. I mean, yeah, you could go for the massage if you want, you know, if you've got the, you know, the finances for it, do that. It's whatever. It's whatever tickles your fancy, my darlings. You've got to get that implemented into your life. Work-life balance. Remember, they're not going to give it to you, so you're going to have to find it. But you can do it. Take it from someone that knows. I wouldn't be telling you otherwise, you know. And so it's part of the journey. You know, sometimes when you've got your traumas, you don't feel like going out, you don't feel like facing anyone. This is why I say nature's great, because you just need to find the courage and the energy and the enthusiasm to just get to that place, and then you'll be alone and you'll be fine. It will be like just being at home. But four walls isn't good for you. That shape, it's all bad. It doesn't it doesn't vibrate at a high frequency at all, hence why they put you in block houses. There's a reason for that. But we're not going to go into that because we're talking about positive things and we're talking about solutions and things that you can do. So if you are or haven't already, those are some of the things that you can do. To anyone that's on medication, I don't suggest that you come off that or anything like that at all. Just keep in tune with your doctors or your therapists. You can make a diary of what you're doing, just to recount where you've been and how you felt. If for you don't like being alone and you want to be around a group of people, invite some people around. Invite people around, have a gathering, have a forest gathering, have a beach gathering. It's quite simple. It's quite easy to do. It's just finding the enthusiasm to do it, which is what I went through. It was extremely difficult, and the beach is just there for me. It's right there, so I get how it feels. It goes back to the physical portrayals of the loss of the enthusiasm to get up and do anything. You just want to stay in bed all the time and put the covers over your head and not get dressed and not see anyone and not even get up and go to the living room. It can be that bad. So it's finding the enthusiasm to get there, because once you get there, you'll realize that's the easiest part. It's the getting up to doing it. So if you can, and if you're lucky enough, again, I have to say lucky, because most people, they're on their own. So they have to be their own muse, which has got to be one of the most difficult things to do. Take it again from someone that knows. But I've done it, and so it's doable. It's not easy, but it's doable. So it's not impossible. So, and if you've got, the will and you just ain't taking no for an answer, the stubbornness to go and get it, you will get it. You will go and do it. Trust me. So again, healthier eating. And also a mixture, because sometimes you need that little bit of chocolate cake. It's good for you. It's just you don't want to do things out of context. You just want to keep it in moderation. But treating yourself, in actual fact, when you deny yourself that, you make it worse and you become more depressed. So denying yourself sometimes isn't the answer. It's balancing it out. So you do give yourself that little treat, just in moderation. And you want to just let yourself go. Just let yourself go. Reflect, feel, meditate, find your happy space. If that's bringing you joy, do more of it. As long as it's in the name of all things good and true. I don't want you to go out and do their bad things. I'm not saying go out and do bad things and selfish things. But these are things to help preserve you, to help you get up for the next day. So food, make sure your food intake is nice and varied. Again, some of you will say, well, you know what, my sleep's affected by things more from my trauma. Or some of you might say, my low self-esteem is what overtakes me more than my sleeping. And again, lack of appetite, and then you find that they all kind of mix in together, don't they? You never know which one's going to be up and which one's going to be low. So it's all very difficult. So the thing is to have that as a challenge, because it also does help in therapy terms of having something to work towards. Takes you off that psychodynamic thought pattern that comes into your mind. It is intrusive and you just want it to go away. But like I said, things won't go away until they've had their acknowledgement. That's what it is. So if you're struggling with the acknowledgement side and you've just had that moment in your healing journey where you've become a bit stagnant, it's okay. Just kick back. Have your environment that makes it a beautiful space for you where you can suddenly breathe and think. Get into that moment, stay there for a while, and things will start to come. It helps you to have that challenge. It takes you away from the thoughts that bring you down, So that in turn, seeking for something that can bring you the closest to joy that you can get. Now, if there's anything I've missed out, please do drop a comment. And even for each other, there might be things that you've done with yourself that you can help other people who are leaving comments. You know, share ideas. You know, this is the beauty of platforms like this. This is one of the positive things out of all the, you know, really disgusting, despicable things that humans are doing. You know, finding a place where you can just get a little bit of joy and release from that is, you know, it's got to be done. It's got to be done. You owe it to yourself to do that. So I hope this has helped. Like I said, it's nature. Get out with nature. Get back to being connected, because being connected with nature brings you into connection with yourself, your higher self, the person that you're trying to get to. Remember? So see it like if there was anything you could ever tell your older self, your future self, when you were young, that you could tell them, think, what would you say? Or if there was anything that you could say now to your younger self, what would you be saying? How would you advise yourself? Imagine if it was someone else you was trying to tell this to. Care for yourself as much as you would care for them. You know, wanting to see them do all these things that bring them joy in their world, you've got to do it for yourself. Never easy. Never ever easy to be kind to oneself. It's one of the hardest things to do when you are an unselfish being. It's one of the hardest things to do because all you've ever done is focused on everyone else, bless your heart. So put the same effort into yourself as you did with others around you. And I hope that's been helpful, my sweethearts. And like I said, we're going to get to the topic of stupidity and what that does. Stupid thoughts and then acting on those thoughts. Never a good idea. And then after that, we're going to discuss how things have been affecting men and how they have been coping with this society, unnoticed, disregarded, inconsiderate behaviour towards them without sparing a thought for how that's making them feel. And women and men getting back into appreciating how we differently get over traumas and how we could take notes from one another, you know. The great things in men and the great things in women, it's a shame that we don't notice them anymore, and we should. So we're going to be discussing how things have been affecting our wonderful male counterparts in this environment. So on that note, my darlings, I hope you have a wonderful day. And as always, Jana.